Just play the
So
role.
to act like the only reason we have problems now is because people got a little bit of money in their bank account is just not honest.
And a little bit of money, they got more than we spent in World War II. So don't act like
hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Don't act like, you said don't act. Don't act like we had to react to the pandemic exactly the way we did. We had to spend $6 trillion
Okay, but how about the trillions that the Federal Reserve shot at Wall Street? For some reason, people don't get upset about that. And that fueled the trillions of dollars the Federal Reserve shot at Wall Street to backstop the stock market and the bond market. No one gets upset about that, even though that was a massive
I don't know what
factor in
you're talking
inflation.
about. What do you mean shot at Wall Street? When are we talking about?
We're talking about buying assets, buying stocks, buying bonds, buying treasury bills so that they expand the balance sheet. This is during the crisis, the coronavirus crisis. When the stock market crashed, that is what the Fed did. They went into action. They shot
trillions of dollars. But the stock market didn't crash during
COVID. Now it's crashing. It's crashing now.
It crashed, and the Fed came in and backstopped it. That's what happened.
What, it crashed and we never heard about it?
No, it crashed. Go back and look at it.
I think let's start with the current affairs article if we have that graphic. So since last episode, I had an article out in Current Affairs called "How Leftists Should Debate in Mainstream Spaces" that kind of takes as its primary example our friend Krystal Ball, who's already referred to her recent appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher. And of course, Bill is not like Sean Hannity. He's not like a hard right propagandist by any means, right? He whatever. I mean, he'll vote blue and whatnot, but he is a fucking idiot, and he does have a lot of ideological assumptions that are very hostile to what somebody like Krystal is trying to get across in that environment. When she's trying to make this very basic case about how savagely economically unequal the United States is, and how everything that's going, that happens, everything that's happening in the contemporary United States can't be understood without referencing that basic fact, right? From the fact that people getting $1,400 stimulus checks was considered, is still brought up by people like Bill Maher as this appalling example of like government wastefulness and fueling inflation. But sensible, censor types, like will make that argument. But the government, funneling trillions of dollars really right into the bond market and stock market to stop the crash at the beginning of the pandemic. That was just kind of like, well, you have to do that, right? Or the foreign policy example that came up. We watched most of this at the time on the show, but the foreign policy example that came up was about Bill and neoconservative guest Jamie Kirchick. That is the man's Christian name. I kept referring to him as piece of shit in the segment because I couldn't remember what his actual name was. But would say, well, it's bad that we're not being nicer to the Saudis, because we need we need that oil, because like I don't know, every once in a great while we'll still bring up that like American journalist who was hacked to death in the Saudi embassy. But of course, obviously it's good that we're not buying Russian oil right now because that's different because, human rights. That's like, well, again, it doesn't make any sense if you actually think about it, but it's, it's something that's like, rich people get to make the rules. And it happens that, that our rich people are very friendly with the ones in Saudi Arabia. So none of that counts. And the basic point I wanted to make in the article is that I think that what Krystal did on that, show is like maybe the most recent example that you could put together with other things that we've talked about on here, like Chris Smalls on Tucker Carlson, like Bernie Sanders' 2019 town hall on Fox News, like around the same time, there's a wonderful segment also on Fox with Dr. Adam Gaffney of the Physicians for a National Health Plan, fending off like 5 right-wing talking heads at once about Medicare for all. And I think that like what all these people did, I mean, I was just kind of trying to break down in the article, like what I think makes this like what it kind of takes to effectively use these kinds of spaces, right? So, people could read the article, but basically, I think like having a very clear and simple and consistent narrative added to it, picking your battles, right? Like what you actually like, not fighting about the things that you didn't come there to fight about if you could avoid it, but coming there to fight about the things that are most conducive to what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. What's a dismembered journalist or two between friends? Um, that's like this is in some ways pretty basic stuff, right? But it's also stuff that I feel like a lot of leftists don't do as much as they should, when they're talking to people outside the fold. It's something that I see even like in a lot of debate contexts, like a lot of like online lefty types, like even when they're doing actual debates, they don't really do this stuff because they're not trying to persuade whoever's persuadable who's watching. They're trying to score points with people who already like them. So in any case, I we'll move on, but that's the article in Current Affairs. Either of you guys have anything you want to throw in on that one?
I think one of the important things is that you have the right people do it, because not everybody has the skill to be able to do that.
I agree. So, like let's let me and Andy in these spaces, and we're going to do it the right way.
I would probably walk off set with screaming a series of expletives at people, because I'm not cool like that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think not getting mad alone, and I mean, I'm not, whatever. I think people could probably think of some like maybe now legendary instances of me getting mad. When I'm argue with people, like I'm not going to claim that's never happened, right? But like, yeah, exactly, right? But I think not getting mad goes a long way, just to start with, right? I mean, like I think, and I think similarly, right? Like I think something that a lot of people, like a lot of leftists, want when they watch this stuff is like, well, every time somebody says something that's wrong, you should tell them how wrong they are and what a piece of shit they are. And it's like, well, again, that's very satisfying for us. It doesn't really do much to move the needle with anybody who's like tuned in, probably because they kind of like the person you're talking to, but who might actually be open to some of what you're saying.
You see that with Pete Buttigieg going on Fox, and he just basically like dunks on them, and then liberals are like, yeah. And it's like, honestly, it wasn't even that great of a dunk. I mean, it was an okay dunk, I guess, but like, yeah. And like, we need more people like this on Fox. Like, no, you don't. What you need is more people like Bernie Sanders, Chris Smalls, and Krystal Ball going on.
Well, it's perfectly tailored for fundraising emails, right? He probably literally has the script for what that email is going to say, the exact moment. You know what I mean? For the email that says like, we are $7 short of our goal and we're going to jump off of a bridge unless you donate to Pete Buttigieg's campaign right now. What campaign? Not even sure, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I want last thing is I want Andy with the K Hive panel, like 5 K Hivers and Jay Andy, and see if you can keep her cool.
Lord help me.
You have been watching free public content from Give Them an Argument. To access every single episode of the show, the main show on Monday nights, all of the streams, all of the debate breakdowns, all of the patron-exclusive postgames on Monday nights, all of the patron-exclusive bonus episodes every week, and much, much more, go to patreon.com/Ben Burgis. I cannot resist ending this with, don't be foolish.